You must have some secret insight into what we got going on over here.
Turns out I'm a stakeholder. Heads up. No, just kidding. Welcome to another episode of Cup of Joe. I am your host, Joe Van Kampen. Today we have Alex Bennett from Opinion, a reputation management company. Alex, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm stoked to be here. Thanks, Joe.
Awesome. So Alex, tell us a little bit about Opinion. What specific features does your reputation management software offer that's maybe different from other softwares in the industry?
Yeah, well, I start with, you remember those commercials from Hulu? They said like it was Hulu plus, it was their new TV stuff.
Right.
We're like reputation management plus, because we do so much more. So we're a full resident experience platform. We help you all your reputation management in one place. We help you not only manage that reputation, but also generate reviews and drive online reviews to your platforms to become better looking online. And then a full survey suite, we have an AI tool that we just released that's really, really nice. So I hope we get a chance to talk about today. And and then we integrate with your tool to make sure it's all automated.
Very, very cool. And how does your software monitor and analyze online mentions and reviews?
So on the reputation management side, our tool will pull in anything that happens to you online. So if you're getting reviews in Google or Facebook or Yelp or any of those, sites that your reputation may be landing on, and it's always growing, right? Our list of sites is always becoming, more and more comprehensive, right, of the online reputation. But as you generate new scores or new reviews online, we're pulling those reviews in to your dashboard as well as alerting you. So a big piece of what Opinion does is to help you to be proactive about reputation management rather than just reactive. The general industry of reputation management is reactive, right? We're reacting to what happens to us online. We want you to get ahead of it, be proactive about it, be proactive about driving reviews, and then also responding and all the above. So long-winded answer, but I hope it was what you were looking for.
No, that's actually great. And so you'd mentioned AI. Let's talk about that a little bit, and let's talk about how you're utilizing AI to better your software and better your client's experience.
First things first, we sell Opinion with 2 eyes. You can see the 2 people there. 2 eyes. So Assist AI is what it's called, and it has 2 eyes. So we call it Assist AI, but it's spelled Assist AI to be on brand, right?
Sure.
But the tool will do 2 things. Number one, it helps with review response. Review responses can be difficult, especially when you're using a tool like Opinion that's driving reviews to your website or to Google or wherever, right? Because you're now getting a lot more of them and responding to a lot more of them, right? And so to be unique every time is difficult, or it can be, right? If one person is responding to all of them, to be unique every time is tough. And so on the review, the Assist AI will do 2 things. Number one is review response, right? It will read your review or the resident's review, and then it will type an appropriate response for you. So you can just click post, or you can edit what you want, if something doesn't look how you on brand for your company. But it will learn as you're using it, right? So it's always learning and always comprehending new structures for, typing these review responses. But in that case, they're all 100% unique, right? You never look like you're responding the same way twice, which is huge for review response. And then the other side of our Assist AI tool is for aggregation and comprehension of the feedback you're getting. So out of all the reviews online and out of all the feedback that you'd be getting through Opinion, which is coming through privately through our tool, right? Our Assist AI will go out there you could say, hey, last year or last quarter, last 6 months, whatever the time frame is you want that to be, and it will pull in all of the reviews. It'll read everything that's written about you online, and you can send in a prompt like, what are the top 5 things going poorly at my property? And it will spit those out based off of what your residents are saying, right? So there's no more guesswork in this. And you're not doing this big strategy to get all your reviews online and put them in one spot and try to figure things out. Just let the tool do the heavy lifting. It'll read everything for you. It'll spit out to you something that's really easy to follow. And our clients really love it. I mean, we have clients that use it every week, and they use it on the other side too. What are the top 5 things going well at my property? So they can pull those and give kudos to those that deserve it on that side. So anyway.
Wow, that's very cool. So I completely understand how that supports kind of like a sales management or marketing management individual in the communities. Is there a way that this can integrate to other tools, other softwares, different things like that? What types of integrations exist already, or is that something that you guys are working on?
Totally. So we have an integration with Point Click Care. That's for our 2 trigger events of move in and move out. We're also developing integrations, and we have some done with the Align brands. With Inquire and Sherpa, I think are on deck right now. We have Welcome Homecoming. So all of the CRMs, we want all that data to be flowing in so we can send out feedback requests automatically to residents after they have certain events happen, right? So after your property tour, you should get something that follows up with you and ask, how was the tour 1 through 5, right? So that you can score that easily, and hopefully generate a new resident out of that. Yeah.
Okay, very, very cool. You kind of chatted about how you can kind of tailor the monitoring a little bit. Is there a way to actually have it so that it specifically alerts based on specific keywords or locations, different information like that?
Not alert based off of that, but everything in our dashboard is like, for instance, we have a word cloud analysis that will spit out, here's your top 10 words that people use when they're talking about your property in a positive way and when they're talking about your property in a negative way. So you can start to see the bigger the bubble, the more times that word is mentioned, and you can click on those and start to view all of those times people are saying those words. We've been around for quite a while now, but we've always strived to provide, rather than just the information, we want to provide direction, right? You can get information, you can get aggregation, you can do all those things. Sometimes you can do it yourself, but to get direction based off of resident feedback is tricky. And that's where opinion plays its role. Is we help you not only attract new residents with better online scores and better online reviews, that's the reputation management side. We help you respond automatically with these integrations, right? And with Google, we're pushing those things to Google, and then we plug that all together in one place so that you're never missing anything.
Very, very cool. And this might be a strange question, but how do you ensure the accuracy of the information that you're getting?
Oh, it's a great question, actually. We pull it straight from the source. We're not using a third party to review data or a third party to get to your resident data. It's straight from the source where you're putting information. And then the automations are all plugged off of your team using those tools. So nobody's having to get into opinion to send requests or to make sure these things happen. We run behind the scenes, integrating with the CRM, integrating with Point Click Care or whatever tools you're using to automate these review requests and we call them feedback requests because we're asking them for feedback rather than, hey, will you leave us a review? Very
cool. And can it differentiate between positive and negative sentiments accurately?
Totally. Yeah. So it's easy with Google, right? Because you're able to see it's either a 1-star or a 5-star. And we do proactively is we get ahead of it, right? So when they're clicking on opinions email that's proactively asking for feedback, we're gathering a sentiment from them, right? And we're trying to get ahead of it, right? If somebody just moves in or they had a bad experience or they had a good experience, right, with your team, we want to be the first thing they see. And that's why the automation is there, is they can get an email, they can get a text straight from your property saying, hey, how'd we do? How was your move-in? We understand you just had a property tour. Tell us how that went, right? 1 through 5. So gathering that sentiment in the front end helps you leverage that in a more unique way, in a better way in driving reviews and getting feedback and handling problems as they occur, kind of all the above there.
Very cool. Is there an opportunity or an option currently that exists in order to take a look at competitors' feedbacks, competitors' reviews, different things like that, to see where the major gaps are in the space and then utilize reputation management to kind of support that?
Have you been talking to our product team, Joe?
No, I have not. Why do you ask? It sounds like there might be something.
Yeah, benchmarking is a big piece in our puzzle. Right now, we help you understand what the industry average, so you can understand where you sit according to like an industry average. But we're just trying to, in the future, and this is like just right on deck, right? Is being able to silo that down to like your market, the competitor across the street, rather than an industry average, right, or nationwide. So, yeah.
Okay, that's very, very cool.
You must have some secret insight into what what we got going on over here.
Turns out I'm a stakeholder. Heads up. No, just kidding. How does it compare with similar products in the market?
That's a great question. So we are a unique breed. But the way I would phrase it is, so a lot of times in any industry, in this industry specifically, there are survey tools and there's reputation management tools, right? Usually they're separate. So what we do is we combine those, but we also are, not to be too like biased, which I am, but we also one up, right? So with a traditional survey tool, you can expect in averages, right? You could be getting more or less than this, right? But an industry average for a survey is 1% to 6% response rate.
Okay.
So if you're sending a biannual survey and you're getting 3% of your residents responding to that, and then you're using that data to make decisions for your property or to like improve the resident experience, like if you say it like that, it sounds kind of crazy. Like how could I take data from like 8 people and make decisions for like 500, or whatever, right? So with opinion, we ask less and we get more. So we would ask for, how did we do in all those events? One question, right? How was your move-in 1 through 5? Maintenance team just stopped by and performed a maintenance, on your fridge or your stove or whatever. How was that, right? And so every unique situation gets its own question. We also have a quarterly one that goes out to everybody who did not get one during the period. And the goal of all this is so that you, as a property manager, your property, you can have a finger on the pulse of all of your residents throughout their entire lease cycle. So you understand how everyone is, right? What are they doing? How are they feeling? So that sentiment rating, right, where you would be getting 1% to 6% every, twice a year or so on, we're getting more and more clicks throughout the year and all throughout that lease cycle. So by the end of a year, you may start with like 30% response rate to our initial send, which is massive, right? That's 5 times what you would get at most, according to the industry average with those surveys, right? And then on top of that, so as the lease goes on and you're continuing to ask for feedback, every time these residents have an experience with your team is another experience for them to leave feedback on, because we're going to be proactively, automatically asking them for that, right? So by the end of 12 months, and everyone's experience is different, right? But let's say you got 30% in your first send, you got to 40% by the middle of the year, and by the end of the year, you've heard from 50 or 60% of your portfolio, right? Your units, and you've gotten a click from them, so you understand a sentiment, right? You understand, are you a 5 or are you a 1? And if you're a 1, like what happened, and how did we fix it in that moment, right?
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love that. I've seen the interface. I know how user friendly it is. I know how easy it is to use for sure. But I want to know from you as well, like what type of training exists from your team to support the communities or the groups or what have you in making sure that they're kind of rolling that out properly.
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that. So everybody with opinion gets their own CSM. So a customer or client service manager, or success manager is what it's called, client success manager, CSM.
Sure.
But that person is there to hold their hand through anything they need. And so when they get onboarded with us, we train and we make sure everybody's up to date. We record those so that they have those for after the fact, right? But training is huge. We know we can only be as successful as they can see the success.
Sure.
If that makes sense. I
Yep.
know that was, but that's where we want to play. And the really cool part about Opinion, though, is it's all automated with your tool. So whether you're interacting with our tool or not, like you'll be getting much more data and use out of it, but it's going to be working no matter what. It's going to be happening behind the scenes, driving reviews, driving feedback, so that your team can do what they do best, which is usually not manage feedback and respond to online reviews. It's help residents with what they need, moving people in, doing property tours, helping, you know what I mean? Just running a property takes so much effort and work. We want to take that extra piece of like be everywhere at once, asking all of these residents for feedback, take that out and let them continue to do what they do best.
Awesome. So we had chatted a little bit about dashboards and different things like that. So can you tell us like what types of reports and analytics we can expect to see in that dashboard?
You can see everything in our dashboard. And that's been something that we've worked on nonstop since the beginning. If somebody has a request for a new report, hopefully we're able to accommodate that and build that and put that into place. The other really cool part about Opinion is we have made all of our reports schedulable. So if you, just to make sure, if you want that to land in your inbox every Monday morning, like let's make that happen. You just schedule it and we'll make sure that's constantly running. But we track all of your company's performance as far as the reputation goes. So star ratings, Google, that's your biggest bang for your buck. That's probably where all the searches start anyway, right? If you're searching for a place for a loved one. So yeah, it's really nice. We have, tons and tons of reports, probably more than you need, but.
Very cool. I love the fact that you have those scheduled reports going out. I know for a lot of our groups, they have scheduled reports coming from the CRM, from our organization, and it sounds like from your organization, and they utilize those for when they do their quarterly investor meetings or whatever the cadence is that they do their investor meetings. And so obviously that's very, very important. I love the fact that you mentioned some of the CRMs that you guys integrate with. Obviously that's very, very valuable. Something that recently came up at one of the conferences that we were at was referred to as dashboard fatigue. And basically what that is that your organization, our organization, et cetera, all the different tools that people are using on their websites, everybody's got a different dashboard. Is there an open API available for deeper integrations where we could potentially have it so that your information can flow into our dashboard and have kind of one housed space where a client could basically take a look at all the different information from all the different campaigns that they're running?
Yeah, totally. Yep. We'd be able to share that data directly with Citizen, and then you guys could plug that into a custom dashboard for them.
Very cool. And I imagine that would roll with any of the agencies that you would end up supporting with. That sounds awesome. So how does the software handle real-time monitoring and alerts? Is there an email notification for a negative or positive thing that comes through, or is it something that they need to be in the dashboard? How does that work?
It's all custom. So if you want an alert to happen every time you get a new review online, whether it's positive or negative, you can set that up. What Opinion is, so yes, in answer to your question, short answer, but what we help you do is get that feedback before it hits online, right? So we want to help be proactively asking for how was your move-in, whatever it was, how was your property tour, how was your maintenance, whatever the experience was, so that we can get feedback before the fact, and then you'll know, right, in real time, did this guy have a good experience or a bad experience? If it's bad, it'll land in your inbox, so like Joe just moved in, not stoked about the experience. He clicked the 1. Here's his name, email address, and phone number. So you can easily pick up the phone and make a phone call and fix that problem, rather than it festering, and Joe getting more and more mad until he just wants to move out or just not happy about the experience.
All right, so let's chat about data, because data is obviously a huge concern in the senior living space, HIPAA compliance, all of that. It doesn't sound like you're taking in any specific medical information in any way. Is that fair to say to start?
Yeah, we're not. We don't capture any medical information, but our systems are all HIPAA compliant.
Oh, fantastic! So how do you ensure? Maybe we'll chat about that. How do you ensure the data privacy and compliance with those regulations?
We use a third party. I
Okay.
actually don't know all the ins and outs of the weeds of that, but we have a third party that runs that, and their data warehouse is HIPAA compliant, and so we get to leverage that. So everything that we have lives with them. Yeah.
Awesome. That's perfect. The same as our organization. We have, active demand and the CRMs themselves, and we rely on them to be HIPAA compliant. We are literally just the entrance point. We don't store any of that data. So I imagine it's somewhat similar in your organization as well. I think you've answered all of the questions that I had for you today. Is there anything, I always like to kind of finish off with this, is there anything that I didn't ask that you feel like, man, you want our Cup of Joe viewers to know, anything like that?
Man, I don't know. I think one of the things that opinion stands for is, that you've heard the term like assume, don't assume, right? Because it's going to make an ass out of you and me. So
Right.
The reality is like, don't assume what your residents want. Let's just ask them and get feedback from them and understand that way, right? If everyone's doing that, we're creating a better experience. And if you can get those clicks from residents, which is a tricky thing to do, Joe, for marketing, that, right? To get people to click and respond and do is tough. And so opinion secret sauce of single questions, easy to look at emails and texts, right? That are easily digestible and easily clickable. To gather that sentiment is big, and it really works. Yeah, we service just coming up on 2 million units in opinion, and just continuing to grow. So we're just happy to be here and happy to help organizations gather more feedback, drive more reviews, manage that, automate that process, get it out of the people's hands that need to do other things, right? More important for you.
Absolutely. And our Cup of Joe viewers, they've heard me say this 1.5 million times already. We're all in this for the same reason. We are in it to help people care for people better. Their job is to care for people better. Our job is to support them and help them get there. And my belief and opinion is that you are really just trying to help those communities care for people better. And the best way to do that is ask people what they need. Ask people where the gaps are. Get the information directly from them. Ask and don't assume, like you said. To our Cup of Joe viewers, thank you so much for viewing. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today. This was absolutely amazing. And I'm really, really excited to see the future of opinion and the partnership that Citizen and Opinion has.
Rock on. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much for coming. As always, you can reach out to us at info@citizen55.com. You can fill out a form through our website, citizen55.com, or you can call me directly, 403-903-3703. Thank you so much.